This is the man here,
This
huh?
is this is the man.
And that's her?
Actually,
Yeah? Cover it. There we go. Yes, Philadelphia, June 17th, 1775. My dear, I can now inform you that the Congress have made choice of the modest and virtuous, the amiable, generous, and brave George Washington, Esquire, to be the General of the American Army, and that he is to repair as soon as possible to the camp before Boston. This appointment will have a great effect in cementing and securing the union of these colonies. I hope the people of our province will treat the general with all that confidence and affection, that politeness and respect, which is due to one of the most important characters in the world. The liberties of America depend upon him in a great degree. It is long since I heard from you. I fear you have been kept in continual alarms. My duty and love to all.
June 18th, 1775. Dearest friend, the day, perhaps the decisive day, is come, on which the fate of America depends. Charlestown is laid in ashes. The battle began upon our entrenchments upon Bunker's Hill, a Saturday morning about 3 o'clock, and has not ceased yet, and 'tis now 3 o'clock, Sabbath afternoon. 'Tis expected they will come out over the neck tonight, and a dreadful battle must ensue. Almighty God, cover the heads of our countrymen and be a shield to our dear friends. How many have fallen? We know not. The constant roar of the cannon is so distressing that we cannot eat, drink, or sleep. I cannot compose myself to write any further at present. I will add more as I hear further. I am most sincerely yours.
Philadelphia, July 7th, 1775. My dear, your description of the distresses of the worthy inhabitants of Boston and the other seaport towns is enough to melt a heart of stone. Our consolation must be this, my dear, that cities may be rebuilt and a people reduced to poverty may acquire fresh property. But a constitution of government, once changed from freedom, can never be restored. Liberty once lost is lost forever. It gives me more pleasure than I can express to learn that you sustain, with so much fortitude, the shocks and terrors of the times. You are really brave, my dear. You are a heroine. I am forever yours.
Braintree, October 21st, 1775. At present, it looks as if there was no likelihood of peace. I hope by degrees we shall be inured to hardships and become a virtuous, valiant people, forgetting our former luxury, and each one apply with industry and frugality to manufactory and husbandry, till we rival all other nations by our virtues.
Philadelphia, October 29th, 1775. Human nature, with all its infirmities and deprivation, is still capable of great things. It should be your care, therefore, and mine, to elevate the minds of our children and exalt their courage, to accelerate and animate their industry and activity, to excite in them a habitual contempt of meanness, abhorrence of injustice and inhumanity, and an ambition to excel in every capacity, faculty, and virtue.
November 27th, 1775. If a form of government is to be established here, what one will be assumed? Will it be left to our assemblies to choose one? And will not many men have many minds? And shall we not run into dissensions among ourselves? If we separate from Britain, what code of laws will be established? How shall we be governed so as to retain our liberties? Can any government be free which is not administered by general stated laws? Who shall frame these laws? Who will give them force and energy? When I consider these things, and the prejudices of people in favor of ancient customs and regulations, I feel anxious for the fate of our monarchy or democracy or whatever is to take place. I soon get lost in a labyrinth of perplexities.
Philadelphia, February 11th, 1776. My dear, there is a deep anxiety, a kind of thoughtful melancholy, and in some a lowness of spirits approaching to despondency prevailing. In this or a similar condition we shall remain, I think, until late in the spring, when some critical event will take place, perhaps sooner. But the arbiter of events, the sovereign of the world, only knows which way the torrent will be turned. Judging by experience, by probabilities, and by all appearances, I conclude it will roll on to dominion and glory, though the circumstances and consequences may be bloody.
March 2nd, 1776. I have been kept in a continual state of anxiety and expectation ever since you left me. It has been said, tomorrow and tomorrow this month. But when the dreadful tomorrow will be, I know not. But hark! The house this instant shakes with the roar of cannon. I have been to the door and find 'tis a cannonade from our army. Orders, I find, are come for all the remaining militia to repair to the lines on Monday night by 12 o'clock. No sleep for me tonight.
March 19th, 1776. My ease, my domestic happiness, my rural pleasures, my little property, my personal liberty, my reputation, my life, have little weight and ever had in my own estimation, in comparison of the great object of my country. I can say it with great sincerity, as Horace says of virtue, to America only, and her friends a friend.
Braintree, March 31st, 1776. I feel very differently at the approach of spring to what I did a month ago. We knew not then whether we could plant or sow with safety, whether when we had toiled we could reap the fruits of our own industry, whether we could rest in our own cottages, or whether we should not be driven from the sea coasts to seek shelter in the wilderness. But now we feel as if we might sit under our own vine and eat the good of the land. I feel a gaieté de coeur to which before I was a stranger. I think the sun looks brighter, the birds sing more melodiously, and nature puts on a more cheerful countenance. I long to hear that you have declared an independency. And by the way, in the new code of laws, which I suppose it will be necessary for you to make, I desire you would remember the ladies and be more generous and favorable to them than your ancestors. Adieu. I need not say how much I am your ever faithful friend.
May 17th, 1776. Is it not a saying of Moses, "Who am I that I should go in and out before this great people?" When I consider the great events which are past, and those greater which are rapidly advancing, and that I may have been instrumental of touching some springs and turning some small wheels, which have had and will have such effects, I feel an awe upon my mind which is not easily described. Great Britain has at last driven America to the last step, a complete separation from her, a total, absolute independence, not only of her parliament, but of her crown. I have reasons to believe that no colony which shall assume a government under the people will give it up. There is something very unnatural and odious in a government 1,000 leagues off. A whole government of our own choice, managed by persons whom we love, revere, and can confide in, has charms in it for which men will fight.
Plymouth, June 17th, 1776. I feel no great anxiety at the large armament designed against us. The remarkable interpositions of heaven in our favor cannot be too gratefully acknowledged. He who fed the Israelites in the wilderness, who clothes the lilies of the field, and feeds the young ravens when they cry, will not forsake a people engaged in so righteous cause, if we remember his loving kindness. We wanted powder. We have a supply. We wanted guns. We have been favored in that respect. We wanted hard money. $22,000 and an equal value of plate are delivered into our hands.
Philadelphia, July 3rd, 1776. Yesterday the greatest question was decided, which ever was debated in America, and a greater perhaps never was or will be decided among men. A resolution was passed without one dissenting colony, that these united colonies are, and of right ought to be, free and independent states, and as such they have, and of right ought to have, full power to make war, conclude peace, establish commerce, and to do all the other acts and things which states may rightfully do. You will see in a few days a declaration setting forth the causes which have impelled us to do this mighty revolution, and the reasons which will justify it in the sight of God and man. It is the will of heaven that these two countries should be sundered forever.
July 14th, 1776. By yesterday's post, I received 2 letters, dated 3 and 4 of July. And though your letters never fail to give me pleasure, be the subject and what it will, yet it was greatly heightened by the prospect of the future happiness and glory of our country. Nor am I a little gratified when I reflect that a person so nearly connected with me has had the honor of being a principal actor in laying a foundation for its future greatness. May the foundation of our new Constitution be justice, truth, and righteousness. Like the wise man's house, may it be founded upon those rocks, and then neither storms or tempests will overthrow it.
My dearest friend,
I am with the utmost tenderness yours, ever yours.
my best friend,
My dearest love.
I am in great haste, most affectionately yours.
Ever, ever yours.
Yours ever, ever, ever yours, my dearest friend.